Could you pick only 5 emo bands to listen to for the rest of your life?
Oh, dude, I messed up. I totally drew a blank when you asked me that question.
Logan Tabor is the vocalist of the band AllThePrettyThings, a scene supergroup of sorts featuring members of Alesana, Amorosa, He Is Legend, and Chiodos.
So Taking Back Sunday was always one of my favorite bands from that whole era, and I just always missed them.
I'm always at places where Taking Back Sunday is. Like, I was at a Rip Burnoff one time and they were playing. Something about vampires and nu metal just seems to, I think, go together.
Mid to late 90s vampire stuff hit differently, man.
Well, dude, thanks for taking the time to chat, man.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
It's always good to talk to another fellow bald brother. You know, we got like these domes fly, man. You know,
yeah, baby.
Bald is beautiful.
Love it.
Awesome. You're in North Carolina, right?
I am. Wilmington, North Carolina, down by the coast.
Very cool. My brother lives in North Carolina.
Nice.
Is Greensboro? Is that a place?
That's a place. Yeah, I'm going there this weekend to do a gig with another group. So.
Oh, what other band are you working with? You're cheating on all the pre-things already? The record just dropped.
Well, you know, it's a gig thing. So we do like the 3-hour jams.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it's our buddy Justin Cody Fox. He's like a killer blues guitarist and does a lot of like roots rock kind of stuff. So
sweet. Very cool, dude. Well, man, congrats on the new album Pros dropped today. If you're listening to this podcast right now, we're in the future, a week ahead, so it's been out for a while. So you've probably already streamed the crap out of it if you're listening right now.
Nice.
But dude, where did the title Pros come from?
Man, so it's like normally I would say, it's like a subtle line in a song, but it's just a word. But it is a subtle word in a song. But really, we were kind of searching through the album, looking for like little nuggets that kind of encapsulated the whole feeling of the album. Yeah. And, we were going through all the, like, everything from like a sentence long of stuff, like the 2004
old school emo title.
Yeah. But when it came down to it, nothing was just hitting. And then I brought up the idea of Pros, and the more I thought about it, it was like, because of the way we went about writing this thing, and the span of time over which we did it, it almost felt more like writing a novel than writing like a piece of poetry or something. And it's like, I was digging back through all these notebooks and like going back in my mind, like really trying to pour into these lyrics. And it like, I don't know, it felt like an epic journey for me. So I was like, you know what, this actually makes perfect sense. Let's roll with that. So.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a somewhat wordy guy. You know, I have a pretty good vocabulary, but I heard that word, I'm like, Pros, I gotta look that one up. I gotta Google that one.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Any reason behind a Wednesday release? Or you're just trying to shake things up?
Just shaking it up, baby. Shaking it up. Gotta keep it fresh for the youngins.
Yeah, man, you gotta keep them on their toes. They're not expecting that midweek release, you know?
That's right.
They're worrying about other shit on a Wednesday, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love the track Every Now and Then on the album. It's got kind of like almost like an alt rock 90s vibe to it, especially to the guitar on that one. Can you tell me a little bit about the creation of that song?
Man, that was actually the first track that we did. So a couple years ago, Tristan and Worth reached out to me because Worth and I had known each other for a while. And we'd always we'd never played in bands together, but we'd always like played on the same bill, alongside each other. And so he hit me up. They had all these demos and they were looking for a vocalist to try and see if they could start something. And so I listened to all these demos. Every Now and Then was one of them. And it was like the first one I actually took a stab at. And it was kind of like right after COVID hit. So I was trapped in a house with less than desirable person.
Dude, don't those days just feel like a whole fever dream? Like, it's only been a few years, but I feel like we're all so removed from it now. It's like, oh God, I can't imagine going back.
No, dude, it was wild. But I was living like 8 hours away from Worth at the time, and one day I had this idea. I felt like I had developed it enough, and I went downstairs and I set up a mic and a little preamp, and I tracked out all my vocals and all my harmonies and stepped back and listened to it. And I sent it to Worth and Tristan, and they were like, oh God, this is this is the thing that we've been looking for. And we all just felt really, really good about it. And to me, that's like one of the more emotionally intense songs on the record.
Oh, yeah.
And man, it just helped me get a lot of demons out at a time where I really needed to get some demons out. So there's a special place in my heart for that tune, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely got some kind of a little bit of a ballady feel to it almost as well. Like you said, very emotional, big chorus. You said you were living with somebody that wasn't going well at the time?
No, I'm sure many people can relate. Especially during the COVID days. But I just was trapped out like 8 hours away in kind of a secluded mountain area, it was a nice area, but just because of that situation we were in as a society, it kind of changed the tone of that whole beautiful place that I was in. So it's an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, man. So many people during that time got trapped in weird positions. And like a lot of people, like I have a lot of friends that had like just started dating people right before it happened. And then it's like, oh, I guess I live with this person now. Like, I guess this is my new girlfriend that I didn't really mean to.
That did. It happened so much. I heard that story from so many of my friends.
Yeah. And then years later, it's like, oh shit, like, should we break up? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I feel like we're like married now.
Yeah. Yeah. Really forced a lot of people shit or get out the pot.
Yep.
So do you have a favorite song off the new album, or was that one it?
Man, that is so tough. I mean, for a while there, it was every now and then, just because of what I said, it just it helped me with a lot. And I feel like lyrically, it flows well, and there's a lot of room for interpretation from individual to individual. But man, lately, I've really been digging Weeping Season.
Okay,
because it's just one of those, like get in the car and scream it out, just jam it out and ride around and kind of thrash a bit. It's cool.
Yeah. Nice. Are we going to be hearing a lot of these songs live then when you guys hit the road and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice. We just did that tour with Alesana and Vampires Everywhere, Half Heard Voices, and Limbs, which was a sick tour. Every band was so good. But yeah, we played 6 of the album tracks.
Very cool. And it's cool because a lot of these singles have been out for a while too. So I'm sure people coming to the shows, have at least a little bit of a reference point for the songs. And if they don't, when they come in, at least they can go home and listen to them because a lot of the singles were already out. Yeah,
it seemed like people had latched on to them. There were every show, every place we played, there were people who knew the songs. There were people showing up with like some of our merch on. It was a really cool feeling. It was good.
Yeah, the song New Teeth also just kicks ass. That's the first track on the album, and that really comes out the fucking gate, man. That really, it's nice. Big chorus. Love that one. Of course, you just dropped the music video on Monday, right? For that one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, lots of obvious vampire themes to the song and the video overall. Yes, is that big interest of yours? Vampiric and horror?
The horror for sure, and vampires. I'm more of like this falls into the category. I'm kind of like, I love horror. I can't. I fall asleep to that shit. Like, really? It's weird. It's
fucked up dreams.
Yeah, a lot. It's problematic. But,
I'm all messed up, man. Yeah.
Let's not go too far down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I love horror, and I'm really into like the supernatural side of horror more so than like the slashery stuff. So vampires kind of fall into that. And I kind of always found something extremely tragic about vampires having to live forever unless they're murdered.
Right.
And especially when that's like, when you got like love and relationships and mortality in the mix and stuff, it was just kind of a metaphor for like a dying relationship, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It does seem like vampires are always like portrayed as like lovers and like mostly good spirited people. And then, they just have like this unfortunate disease where they want to drink blood,
Yes, lust for blood.
Yeah.
My major flaw.
Relate, right? Yeah.
Right. There's got to be something.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite vampire movie or a favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movie, dude. That's right now. I've really been into this movie called The Dark and the Wicked.
Okay, I haven't heard that one.
It kind of feels like. Did you ever see that movie, The Witch?
I haven't seen it, but I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that's like pretty artfully done. Great production, great cinematography. Like all in all, a good movie, regardless of the fact that it's a genre film.
Yeah.
But Dark and the Wicked kind of falls into that like cerebral, slow haunt, like really messed up stuff, but like done in sort of a classy way. If I mean, you'll watch it and be like, that's not classy, but I don't
know. What the fuck was Logan talking about, man?
That's not classy at all. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta go back and watch the Blade movies, man. Because I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine last week, and obviously, spoiler alert for anyone. Have you seen it yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, well then I don't want to spoil it for you then.
Don't worry about it. I can handle it.
There's a Blade cameo in that movie, and so that made me want to go back and read. Because dude, those soundtracks on Blade were so good back in the day too. It's so much good, like new metal and hard rock and stuff on there.
All the rave scenes where they're just jamming.
Yeah, dude. Same with Queen of the Damned. Something about vampires and new metal just seems to, I think, go together.
That mid to late 90s vampire stuff hit differently, man. It was like really desaturated looking, and it felt like it felt so spooky and empty, but also hip. It was really intriguing. Yeah.
A lot of those dudes kind of look like vampires too, you know, like Marilyn Manson and Jonathan Davis and shit. They all kind of had like real pale skin.
It was definitely in.
Real lanky. Yeah. Well, dude, it's awesome. I'm so glad that you guys released a whole album. It kind of feels like albums are cool again, almost. You know, they're for a while. Like, yeah, I know, right? Well, there for a while, it seemed like everyone was focused on just doing singles. And of course, you guys did waterfall it that way and release a lot of the singles before the full album. But you still did eventually lead up to an album. And I don't know, it does seem like that's kind of like the tide's starting to turn a little bit. Like a lot of bigger artists who were doing that, like Ronnie Radke and, for example, like are putting out albums now, and people are kind of seem more excited to dig into a full body of work than just like the quick bits of information.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming back around. I think a lot of stuff is, you know, like this entire sort of alt emo scene is coming back around in a really big way, and it's hopeful and exciting for us. And with that, I think that new generation is starting to understand the value of full-length albums, like bodies of work, and I'm hoping it keeps trending in that direction, because there's something rewarding about, as an artist, about not just creating all this stuff that sounds like it should go together, but like choosing the right sequence for it to be showcased in. And I mean, that can make or break, not make or break an album, but it can definitely enhance the listening experience. And
well, and especially too, like, I mean, I've, you know, been in bands before too, and like I know that painstaking process of like organizing a song and putting it into the perfect like order that you think it needs to sound, is the best way to listen to it. And it's like generally people aren't listening to it in that order anymore. They're just listening to the top 5 songs on Spotify. So it's like, again, it's like you're allowed to listen to the music however you choose to, but sometimes it is cool to go back and listen to it the way the artist intended and kind of get their full vision, you know, especially if it's like a story album. Yeah,
for sure. I'm pumped that it seems to be trending that way. And, you know, we did the singles thing, like you mentioned. And that was, we always knew we were leading to an album, but this day and age, it just we felt compelled to cascade it that way, because that way we could focus on promoting each individual song. So it was more of a marketing move.
Well, I think you did it right too. I think that's like the perfect balance too, because I think it is great to have the full body of work, but again, like it does suck how many great albums are out there that like you can sit there and say like, oh, this album is a banger front to back, but like there's still 2 or 3 songs on there that never got their time to shine, that never got a video, never got pushed. Like most people who are fans of the band probably haven't heard it, you know. So it's like, it's I think finding that little middle ground, which like you guys did, I think it was like a good approach to it. Like give every song a chance to breathe, but then finally package it all together as like, this is the full body, which is cool.
Yeah, it was a cool experience, and I'm glad it's out there, because it was starting to hurt my brain, like seeing all the different artwork on Spotify. Now it's like one piece of art, and I'm like, that satisfies my OCD big time.
Right. Clumped all together for sure. Yeah, I think it was Nikki Sixx, I want to say, when they put out the last Motley Crue single. He said something like, you know, we're going to focus on just putting out singles from now on. We're going to follow this format instead of doing albums. And I just like laughed. I'm like, usually when like the older guard gets hip to something, that's when it's over. We're done with singles now. We're going back to albums. Like Nikki Sixx just officially ended it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I didn't even think of that. That's you're probably exactly right as far as the trend, though.
Every time, man. Every time, like, and no shade against the older like generation of music, of course, but like it seems like whenever they finally get hit to it, it's like, all right, we're switching back. We're going to the next thing now.
That's how it goes. Nobody uses Facebook anymore now.
Right. Yeah,
it's over.
Man. Dude, every now and then I'll go on Facebook to check something. I'm like, oh my God, what is on? Like, it's just like a minefield of like complaints from HOAs and fucking like, and like just a lot of political stuff. And it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what platform honestly is the worst as far as like. I mean, I'm sure they all have their own niches of terrible interactions, but yeah, Facebook. Just every time I open that up, I'm like, oh man, it's just so much fighting every time.
Dude, it's a train wreck. Yeah, it's a depressing place now, but.
A lot of ads and stuff, it seems like, too. I feel like every time I open Facebook, they're just trying to sell me something, which I know is the goal of every social media platform, of course. But Facebook's like real, like in your face with it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
The good news is they own everything. So it's only a matter of time before everything feels that way.
Yeah.
So All the Pretty Things it's sort of like a emo, screamo supergroup. We got a lot of members from different bands. Were you guys in between projects at the time when you put this together?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a good chunk of us were. Jeremy, the drummer, he's also the drummer of Alesana. He's still playing with them, and we've just been able to make it work, because when we started, we didn't know how far this would go or how much momentum it would gather. So we just...
Was it like a studio project when you first started, or would you have the idea to make it a full band from the get-go?
I mean, we wanted it to be a full band experience, but I think it was in our minds right there at the start. We were like, okay, this can at the very least just be a recording thing. We can deck these songs out, make them sound exactly how we want. Let's not even worry about the crazy, how we're going to do this live and all that, which turned out to not be that hard. But it was pretty shortly after we started recording. So like I said earlier, the 4 original demos that Tristan and Worth sent me before we really even established this as a band. Once we started recording the next songs after we had said, okay, let's do this recording project, it was pretty soon after that we were like, let's actually get like fully serious about this.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. So
are you guys like all friends? Like, do you hang out outside the band, like party together and stuff?
We do when we can. So Tristan lives in Texas. Jeremy's in Asheville, which is about 4.5 hours away from me and Worth. But me and Worth actually live together, and I'm in the studio, which is in the house right now. So he and I hang out constantly.
Yeah.
A lot of Gears of War and watching horror movies. But
nice.
But yeah, we hang out. We're definitely buds, like when those dudes do get the opportunity to come in town, we definitely do our best to make it like a whole thing. We'll go out, we'll do our business stuff and our music stuff, but we make it a point to definitely enjoy each other's company as dudes.
Yeah, because I feel like when musicians are hanging out and partying together, just chilling, like it's only a matter of time before you're like, why don't we just write something? Like, let's work on some music. It inevitably rolls that way that you put a band together.
Yeah, it leads. When we're just chilling, it's like eventually we get to that point of the night. We're like, all right, well, I'm sick of drinking beers with you guys, so let's go down there and jam and get some work done. So it always gets there one way or another. So
yeah, I have a bunch of friends that like we'll get together. A lot of musician friends, like we'll be like partying or whatever, and like we'll never really always hit that point during the night where we're a little drunk. We're like, dude, we should just one show, man. Just get together, just do one. Luckily, we're all old dads, so like the next morning, we're like, we're not actually doing that, right? Like we got shit to do.
I'm busy. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that was all drunk talk, right? For sure. Yeah.
But it's exciting in the moment,
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think you guys on tour will ever do some kind of like medley with like a covers of all the respective bands together as like one little like kind of like, hey, this is what we all came from?
That's a rad question. I've never thought of that. That would that'd be a cool tribute.
Hey, Jesse Lee, I'm the idea man for you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely getting the credit on that one. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of a super cool thing.
Like a chorus or something from each, like from like a big He Is Legend song, big Alesana song, big Chiodos song. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, just kind of like blend them together real quick. Give people a little shake in the audience.
Because I mean, obviously, if you do like 3 or 4 songs, set people are like, "All right, come on, man." But yeah, you just do a little medley.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I'll take that. I'll take that to the gods.
All right, I'll look for my royalty check in the mail. You can send that over. I take Venmo.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
Speaking of, do you guys have any tours lined up or in the works that you can talk about?
Nothing I can talk about. We're in talks with a couple of different acts. Nothing's set in stone. And honestly, I mean, I maybe could talk about it, but I haven't talked to them about talking about it. So I'd rather err on the side of safety
totally
here.
Fair.
But yeah, we're definitely, the goal, man, is to just stay working.
Yeah.
Because, dude, we went and did that tour with Alesana and all those other bands I mentioned earlier, and we just got that fever, dude. We got back and we were like, I can't go back to normal life now.
Yeah.
Put me back out on the road. So we're constantly looking for ways to just keep doing it.
Well, hell yeah, man. If you guys come to Cleveland, I will hope to catch you.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll be there one day and we'll definitely let you know.
Yeah. What was the last show you went to, like, as a fan?
I went to one the other day. Oh, I went to Taking Back Sunday the other day.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, it was great, dude. It was such a blast, man. Huge crowd, wild crowd. Dude, so Taking Back Sunday was always one of my favorite bands from that whole era. Mm-hmm. And I just always missed them. Like, oh, really? I was out of town when they were coming through Raleigh, or I couldn't make it to this because of work. And dude, for years, I never got to see him. I finally got to see him, 20 years later. Mm. And yeah, it was great. It was badass. That's funny because for me, Taking Back Sunday is a band that I've seen the most live probably out of any band, and it's accidental. I do love Taking Back Sunday, but they're not my number one favorite band in the world. But I've seen them like I was at a Rib Burnoff one time and they were playing. I'm always at places where Taking Back Sunday is for some reason. That's not a bad thing, Yeah. But I went to When We Were Young last 2 years ago or whatever like that. And of course they were there again. I'm like, oh, chalk this up. This counts. This is another Taking Back Sunday. Was that the When We Were Young with the wind canceled the first day? Yes. Yeah. I was out there, man, and I only had availability to go to the day that got canceled. So you went to the windy day? Yeah. I flew out to Vegas. I was pumped. Show got canceled that morning, and I just drank beer and flew home. Dude, you didn't go gamble or hang out or anything? Just went back? I did a little bit of the big wheel. That's kind of my game, because it's I can low risk, low reward kind of thing. And I lost $20 pretty quickly. And then I got on the plane and left. That was it for me. The original When We Were Young festival, day one, was such a sad looking experience. Just like all the displaced emo kids out in the streets of Las Vegas. I saw like videos and pictures of like Tyson Ritter from All American Rejects just in line at Waffle House. Like, oh, that's fantastic. Oh man. Yeah. So Hot Topic hired me to cover the event for them. I was doing interviews and stuff. And they had hired another person, and they're like, they asked me first, like, which weekend do you want? Do you want the first weekend or the second weekend? And I was like, look at my schedule, and just schedule-wise, the second weekend worked out better for me. So I chose that one. And then I immediately had regret because I'm like, no, man, the first day is going to be the best day because that's when the people are going to be super excited. People are going to be super pumped. Like, that's when everything's going to be going balls out. And I kept having regret about it until the day that, the wind came and destroyed the place and it got canceled. Yep. And I was like, whoo, I am so happy. Yeah, made the right call there for sure. Yeah, someone was looking out for me, man. Oh, good. Do you think, sorry to rub it in. No, it's fine. I'm used to it by now. Dude, it was so cool. You missed it. Well, me and Worth both flew out there, and he had availability to go to both days. So the first day got canceled. I had to fly home, and he still gets to go to the other one. He comes back. I've been hearing about it from him since the whole damn time since then, man. So this isn't anything new to you then? This is normal. This is just everyday operation. Do you think emo is probably your favorite like rock subgenre? If you had to pick one? Man, excellent question. That's tough. I definitely love a lot of the emo stuff, but I don't know, dude. That's good. I kind of really, in more recent years, have been leaning more towards just like what I would call, alternative rock, but like popular alternative rock. Like, I cannot stop listening to that first Audio Slave record. Still. Really?
Okay. Yeah.
I just cannot put it down. And there's some Soundgarden stuff I can't put down, like Down on the Upside. And like Seven Dust just dropped a record in 2023 called Truth Killer.
So good.
Dude, I cannot stop with that thing. I could have done this whole interview about Seven Dust's new album.
Dude, I interviewed LJ a couple weeks ago at Incarceration Fest. Just the nicest dude, man.
Nice.
It was, that record, fantastic.
Dude, I cannot believe it. Every song just kills. Like, I obsess about it all the time. I'm always like, Worth, when we do this next record, you know how on the Seven Dust record they're doing this? And he's sick of hearing that. So,
well, I was thinking about this question. Then I don't know if it's going to work or not. What do you think is your top 5 emo bands of all time, if you can think of it? If it's going to be too difficult, we don't have to. I don't want to put you through the ringer here.
Well, no, I think we can do this. Assuming that these bands fall into the emo category, I would think they would. It would have to be like Taking Back Sunday, The Used. Man, I really liked Dead Poetic.
Really?
You know
okay. Yeah.
They had a couple of really great records. Dead Poetic. And then, man, I don't know if the rest really fall into like emo or scene.
It's a pretty broad term. I think you can use whatever. Yeah. I feel like even when it's like a lot of the pop punk stuff gets lumped into it, so I'm cool with it. I'll allow it for this game, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think if we're doing the scene thing, definitely He Is Legend is in there. I mean, I grew up on those dudes. I've known those guys like my whole life. I've been seeing them play since I was 10. And they've been a huge influence on me. And man, that's rough. Well, to be honest with you, as of late, that band Limbs that we toured with, dude, holy hell.
Nice.
Like, you need to check them out, but also if you get a chance to see them live, dude, they fucking deliver. Like,
nice. This is an eclectic list. All right. So we had Taking Back Sunday, The Used, Dead Poetic, He Is Legend, and Limbs.
Yeah.
Nice. This is really broad, like across all generations as well, as far as emo goes.
Yeah, I didn't focus too much on one thing. Yeah. I was always I grew up on like Peter Gabriel and Genesis and stuff.
Okay.
So like my dad raised me on some crazy stuff. I kind of got into like heavier rock on my own and because of my older brother. But yes, I never stuck to one thing for too long.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, I think I might definitely start off with like the hair metal stuff, like Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, and all that whatnot, and then moved on to grunge, and then emo, or actually probably new metal, then emo. But yeah, basically whatever like subgenre was big at the time, like I moved with it. Like, all right, here we go, as an adolescent,
Well, now I'm curious, and I know I'm not interviewing you, but what are your top 5?
Top 5 emo bands of all time?
Yeah, emo scene. Like,
Man, I should have had an answer prepared. All right, let's see. I got to go The Used for sure. They're definitely going to be on my list. And Taking Back Sunday too, because those two bands are pretty pivotal. Census Fail, I think. Got to throw in there. Love Census Fail. I'm trying to keep it into the real scene emo category, not veer off too much in the pop punk. Because I would say Fall Out Boy, but I they do kind of veer more out in the pop punk side. But
that's emo adjacent. But
emo adjacent for sure. Oh man, this is tough. Let's throw. You know what? I gotta go with the hometown boys. Hawthorne Heights. They are the band that really was my emo awakening. I feel like
for sure.
And now anyone listening is going to flame me for not including My Chemical Romance and
Gotta do My Chemical Romance. Oh, dude,
I
messed up, dude. It's like I totally drew a blank when you asked me that question. I started throwing out like hardcore bands. And
shit. Like local bands and shit. Yeah, dude. It's tough, man. Well, it's such, like we said before, it's such an expansive category too, and like
for sure.
Unless you have like the Emo Forever Spotify playlist in front of you, it's so hard to remember.
Right.
Like, oh, those were the jams.
I mean, because like All American Rejects was fantastic also, but they're kind of like the Fall Out Boy thing where they're a little more pop punk, but kind of emo adjacent.
Yeah.
Probably fit in there better than like Limbs or something as far as the emo category, but
right. And then there's like the real pioneers like Thursday and shit. And
dude,
like,
and I forgot Thursday. Dude,
Yeah.
War All the Time was one of those things I never put down for like 2 straight years.
Dude, yeah. That and Full Class, man. Those 2 albums were bar none. Man, hold on. We got a minute here. We got
Yeah, we're good.
What else are we missing? I know we're missing before we get flamed in the comments section, but
I can't believe I forgot them. What's Thursday? What an idiot.
Oh, dude, Thursdays. Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, then of course we go down the pop punk route. We got Yellow Card. We got what else?
Dude.
We got Simple Plan. Yeah. Oh, dude. So many good ones. So many classics.
What am I even doing? Who am I?
Dude. Well, Under Oath. Fuck, man. Oh, fuck.
Yes.
All right. I'm stopping this. This is gonna get worse. We
could just name bands for the next hour.
Name them all.
And you'll just name them and I'll go,
Yes, I do love that band. What was the first band that made you want to start playing music to begin with?
Start playing music? Incubus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was there a specific song that really grabbed you?
Well, when I grew up in a musical family. My parents were like musical ministers for the church that we lived next to my whole life. And so I grew up playing over there and running sound over there and just being a part of that production every week. But when I started to get, and I did the piano lessons thing, but when I started to get to where I wanted to transition over to like drums and guitar, I was probably like 11 or 12. And I think that Make Yourself was out then. And so, and you also still had like a whole lot of like The Box and MTV2 and Fuse, like all those networks. So I was constantly seeing the video for like Pardon Me and Drive and Stellar.
Yeah.
And then I got the whole record and was able to listen to the deep cuts. And even as like an 11, 12-year-old, I was like, dude, this band.
Yeah.
And it was also the first band that I had brought home and showed my dad. And he was like, what the fuck is this? This is awesome. Yeah. He was like, this is a good band. I'm glad you're listening to this. And because prior to that, I think the only thing I had really brought home was like, I remember when I was like a couple years younger, I had this one orgy album called Vapor Transmission. And my dad was like, what in God's name are we listening to here, dude?
Like being on trash cans? What is that?
Yeah. So I finally brought home this record and he was pumped about it. But at the same time, around then, I mean, I was crushing some Blink-182, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, they were in their prime. So them and Incubus somehow came together to get me on stage, really.
I love how Incubus has like, in like this new generation has been retroactively like regarded as a new metal band. Like they get lumped into a lot of those categories. Like I never made that connection when I was younger. Like they were way more experimental kind of alt rock to me than like new metal. But I mean,
they were in like the same time slot on it, like MTV as like Deftones and stuff like that. So, but and they fit in because everybody knew those songs,
right?
And like, did you ever listen to the album Science, the one that came before Make Yourself?
Yeah. Wasn't that the one everyone like really kind of considered like a new metal album or something?
Yeah, I think that would be the only time they were like really in what you would call new metal, but it was still like psychedelic funk driven.
It was like alt rock Pink Floyd or something almost. Like it was
bizarre, but
I remember A Crow Left of the Murder when that dropped. I loved that album, man. That was a banger.
Dude, and there's like 14 tracks on it, and the songwriting, it was a departure for them, because their bassist had left at that point. And so Ben Kinney was in there. It was their first album with Ben Kinney. And so they kind of went in a new direction. It took me a second to warm up to it, but when I did, I was like, dude, this songwriting is fucking incredible.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember one of those instances where a song like turned me on to a new word. Like he's like that song Megalomaniac. I'm like, what? That's a word? Like, what does it even mean?
Oh, dude, I've had to use a dictionary reading Incubus lyrics so many times.
It's like he's only dude that can take words like that and make them catchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like rules, dude.
There's a song where he croons, like just beautifully sings the word exoskeleton, and I'm like, you're the only dude that could get away with it.
Right. Well, Logan, dude, it's been awesome chatting about emo and Incubus for sure, but especially talking about the new band, All the Pretty Things, and your new album Prost, which is out now, and everyone can find you all the pretty things on social media. Your eyes are on Instagram, the aforementioned RIP Facebook and YouTube. You guys on TikTok? You making TikTok dances or anything?
We've got a little TikTok. There's no dances. It's we're trying to figure out what direction to go in with the TikTok. We're old.
Just just find out whatever the Gen Z influencer are doing and just copy that. Put your music over it.
It's a good strategy. I like it.
Do you have any more last minute plugs before we get out of here?
No, just please check the record. There's one song on it that we had not previously released called In Quotations. It's the last song on the record, so please check that out. Really excited about it. And the new music video for New Teeth, the first song off the record.
Very cool. And I have been your charismatic host, Jesse Lee. You can find me at Jesse Lee on TikTok and Instagram, at Jesse Lee Show on X. And above all else, no matter what you do, please be sure to share this episode with somebody that doesn't suck. All right? Take it easy now, and bye-bye.